Good morning and welcome to the second installment of Yes It Counts, a vlog born from my desire to help families who have been thrust into homeschooling their children during this weird time to understand that learning happens all the time, not just in school. Today's topic is cooking. Most folks point to the practical skills of math and measurement as well as knowing how to feed yourself as why we want to learn how to cook. Yes, measuring is important. In fact, we have measuring cups at the center that are a different color for each size, and the actual measurement has been worn off of the measuring cups. We actually have a chart on the refrigerator showing which color goes to which measurement, and the kids are very happy to have that because they often forget that the red one is a quarter cup. I would also suggest that cooking is about storytelling, family heritage, and culture. I'm an anthropologist, so I always go back to my training, and that the most basic anthropological definition of culture is learned behavior. We learn things from our families, we learn things from the people around us. I come from a family of cooks, therefore I am a cook, and both of my children are making a living in the field. My daughter works for a local neighborhood bar as a cook, and my son is an administrator and substitute instructor for iCook, which is an after-school cooking program in all the schools around Chicago. Both of my grandmothers worked in school cafeterias during World War II. My dad's mom had handwritten recipes that could feed upwards of 100 people. Talk about learning math skills. You had to take the recipe and cut it down to a regular sized family, which means you had to convert the amount of pounds to cups. But it was my beloved maternal grandma who instilled the love of food and cooking in me. I spent much of my childhood at her side, standing on a little stool, just immersed in her kitchen. I peeled and sliced apples for pies, mixed and stirred all the amazing deliciousness that came from her kitchen. I had my own paring knife at a very young age. This is the one I use now, but it had a plastic handle. I remember it was pretty tiny, and it had one of those handles that was a color, I don't know, one of those 70s colors, like that weird orange or the weird green color. I was always a bit afraid of using the knife like my grandma, because her right thumb had crisscrosses firmly embedded from the years she spent peeling fruits and vegetables and snipping the ends off of beans, cutting potatoes into cubes for her famed potato salad. And in her later years, she carved. This is just one of the carvings that I have that she did in Arizona. Actually, she spent every single winter in Arizona. This is actually cottonwood bark. Her thumbs were also permanently stained from the years that she smoked. She actually smoked through breast cancer into her late 70s, and the raspberry juice from the berries she grew on her land. I also had a tiny rolling pin. I don't have it here because it's at the center. Kids still use that. I used it to roll out the leftover pie crust for cinnamon and sugar tarts. I learned how to make bread when I was 12. I think the main reason was so I could make ooey gooey cinnamon rolls. I found a recipe in a magazine and proceeded to make at least one batch of bread of dinner rolls or cinnamon rolls each day. I also set up a small venture that involved babysitting and baking bread for a family embrasure. My repertoire expanded to include cookies, quick breads, and cakes. My mom had the Better Homes and Gardens cookbook from the 60s. By the time I left home, it was pretty trashed. I actually purchased a new one for her when I went to college. Funny, my daughter Kenzie did the same thing before she left home because she had trashed mine. It was a thoughtful gesture, but unfortunately the newer edition is paperback with a plastic binder, and some of my favorite recipes have been updated. I encourage every family to get into the kitchen, cook some delicious food together, make some messes, and create some memories. Your children will not only carry all those practical skills, they also hold onto and tell the stories for their entire lifetime. Until next time, be well.